Today's chalice lighting is in memory of John Lewis. These are the words of John Lewis from a tweet, June 2018. Do not get lost in a sea of despair. Be hopeful. Be optimistic. Our struggle is not a struggle of a day, a week, a month, or a year. It is the struggle of a lifetime. Never be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble, necessary trouble. At the March on Washington, 1963, I appeal to all of you to get into this great revolution that is sweeping our nation. Get in and stay in the streets of every city, every village and hamlet of this nation until true freedom comes, until the revolution of 1776 is complete. This is still true today.
Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
Hello everyone, my name is Leo Perez. Some of you may recognize me from church or the few services which I have participated in. But today I would like to talk to you guys about my first GA and also my first time being a youth delegate for First Parish. So GA for me was actually very enlightening, and I really appreciate all the great webinars, especially focused on racism and how it can be systemic, and just building spaces where we're open to all groups of people. I had great discussions with fellow UUs who from youth to adults in these webinars, and that was great for me. But I would say the one thing which defined my first GA was the Maple Youth Autonomous Zone, which is the clever name which was given to us members of the Youth Caucus that started posting this name in the Maple chat in the main hall. I think it's easy just to look at that as a joke and how all the quirky UU youth kind of manifested like a meme, but I also think it was sort of a symbol for the collective voice of us youth at GA who sometimes felt that we weren't being heard. Obviously, from the digital barrier, we can't impose our physical selves into GA. But so the MYAZ, or Maple Youth Autonomous Zone, kind of manifested out of that desire to have our voices heard. And I just thought it was so amazing to be part of something larger than myself, even though I was just sitting at my desktop. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me, and have a great day.
In just a moment, we will enter into a space of prayer and silent meditation, after which we'll flow into Spirit of Life and a sermon by Reverend Danielle Dibona titled Revival of Relations, Revolution of Values. It was first broadcast by the UUA at General Assembly on June 25th of this year. And I hope you can share my excitement at hearing a UU faith leader who has served our congregation so well during a time of recent transition. At this moment, I'd like to invite you to adjust your body into a comfortable position. You can let your gaze soften and your shoulders relax. And all together, let us take one deep breath in and out. Great Spirit, Gentle mystery, be with us now in this moment. We call you forth to witness us in our pain, our confusion, our sadness, our fear and regret, our despair, and our loss. Be with us now. We see you in the magnificent height of the great oak tree and in the tiny perfection of the fastidious bumblebee. We know you in the protests assembled in the bright summer sun. We feel you in the love of our interconnected network of mutuality, represented here in this video and later in our online discussion. Great Spirit, gentle mystery, we call you also to witness our gifts, our joy and our passion, our celebrations, our generosity, our loving relationships, and our braveries. We call you to witness our commitment to a better world, a just world for all people. Great Spirit, gentle mystery, may you read what is written on our hearts. Amen, and blessed be. Together, let us offer ourselves to the silence.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí, ya corazón, cántale tu compasión, sopla volar, sube en la mar, hasta modear la justicia de la vida. Arraigame, libérame,
I chose this sermon title months ago, not knowing what was coming, and now it seems very eerily to be on target. The recent shooting by 2 armed vigilantes of Ahmaud Arbery, who was jogging in the neighborhood. Breonna Taylor, an EMT, shot in her own apartment by police who allegedly entered the wrong place. And COVID-19 and the never-ending lies coming from the White House, which puts people at risk every day. With the current numbers in the United States, over 2 million confirmed cases and over 115,000 deaths of American people as of June 11th. And now today, as I record this sermon, we have the murder of George Floyd by police in Minneapolis. A black man, 8.5 minutes of being under the knee of a white policeman as he begs for mercy and his mother. My friends, we are in deep trouble. And when I say we, I mean Unitarian Universalist leaders. We are out of time. Revival of relationships, revolution of values. A proposal that will look inward at ourselves and who we are as a faith right now, and a revolution of values, an action-centered faith that tells the world who we are. This is a time of great responsibility for people who claim a liberal faith, but we cannot articulate what it means to be both liberal and faithful. If we do that, we will become like a tree in the forest. Nobody hears it fall, and nobody cares. So let us mull over the revival of relationships. I have watched for over 30 years many of our congregations in action. It is often a beautiful thing. It is just as often discouraging and disappointing. When we cannot or choose not to dig deeply into our relationships with one another within our congregations, we break the very essence of what it means to be people of faith. When we are conflict avoidant, yet willing to gossip, we break the fabric of community. When we, as religious professionals, choose not to lead our congregations in justice-making, we deny them an opportunity to expand their understanding of we. As I continue to speak of and to our religious leaders, you are all welcome to listen in. This is for our religious leaders now. Unitarian Universalism is fortunate to have dedicated, committed, and loving leaders. We have Unitarian Universalist ministers, both parish and community, religious educators and musicians, chomping at the bit to share our liberal faith, chomping at the bit to make the world better, more faithful, people who want to build the brave and beloved community, both within and outside of our building. They guide us to become more selfless, less self-centered, more just, less judgmental, more loving, and less afraid. And of course, as is human nature, for some of our leaders, not so much. I do not judge, but dear siblings in faith, if you are resistant to change, dialogue, and love, I beg of you to put aside any arrogance and stubbornness and come, sit with us, talk with us, pray with us. We are all part of the circle. If you believe you are part of this community who wants to build the brave, beloved community, I charge you to wrap yourself in the banner of bravery and bring forth the good news to your community. The good news that Unitarian Universalism is love, and we will not back down from hatred and fear. If you love your congregation, and I know you do, please invite them into the brave and beloved heart and listen to their expertise, their wisdom, their passion. For you who sit in the pews, we need you now more than ever. We need you to be open to a true shared ministry where you, who have already done such hard work, come and share it with us, your religious leaders. We all must enter into our faith in this new time of pandemic and all that goes with it, ready to open our hearts, minds, and souls first to each other and then to the world. So as we return to church, however that looks in the next year, let us commit to deep honesty, deep listening, and deep learning with an open mind ready to be brave. Thus ends the revival of relationships. Now, let us look inward. Let us change our minds and hearts so that we might make a difference in the world. Let us look for a revolution of values. For too long, Unitarian Universalists have worshipped at the feet of rugged individualism and reason beyond reason. Many UUs have rejected any sense of the wonder and the need of community. We sit in our pews, the same seats every week, with lots of distance between us, even before the pandemic, with lots of distance between us and our fellow church members. What is that about? Why is it? We're advertising our individualism, our go it alone, our I don't need any help, and neither should you. We make noise about welcoming others, but we argue rather than discuss new programs that will benefit the other. We reject the need to understand deeply what it means to be the other, and we adamantly stand our ground around ethics, equality, and values to meet our individual needs. This is not how we want to be seen in the world. Actually, we no longer have the luxury to be defiant and argumentative for argument's sake. Now hear this. I am not talking about good old-fashioned UU debate and individual journeys of faith. I am not talking about towing the line of the company, whatever that might be, and its declarations. This is not about dogma or confession of faith. But in order to face the world today, in order to be part of the saving of the world, we need to find a common language and common values. I propose a value of love beyond love, a willingness to accept all people as they are, a willingness to make deep accommodations to those who are desperately seeking a safe haven. I propose a value of power. We UUs often don't recognize the power of our faith in community, grasp it, and use it for the benefit of others. And we must be willing to give up much of our power. We must be willing to give up power. I propose a value of humility. We all know that UUs are highly educated, very smart, very successful. Now, if we value love beyond love, We must strip away our conceit. We must learn that there are so many ways to be educated and smart. We must value those who enter our doors as the beloved human beings that they are. We must stop pontificating and listen. Listen deeply. We must be willing to be wrong. We must be open to losing the argument for the good of all. I propose a value of learning. We must recognize that others who we do not see as Unitarian Universalists have rituals, experiences, worldviews, and knowledge that we need to hear and learn from and understand. I propose a value of bravery. Stop with the safe space. You don't need it. Be brave. Go out and join the protesters and confront your political leaders. Sit with and befriend the homeless man on the street. Gently, or not so gently, confront those who would bully others, who might be intimidated with hatred. I propose a value of fearlessness. The world is different today than it was last year when we prepared for GA in Spokane. Not only are we rightfully afraid of our leaders and the antagonism towards everything science-based, everything that has been established to protect and provide for its citizens, now we need to fear the invisible, COVID-19. In our fearlessness, we need to be cautious, but we do not need to be terrified into frozenness. This is a time to use our power to insist that our government step up and lead, step up and tell the truth, step up and provide. And we don't even need to leave our homes to do so. I propose a value of imagination. We can use all of our senses to imagine the community we want. What you see, what you think about your UU community in your deepest imagination, you can bring to fruition. I propose a value of generosity. Do not hoard the gifts, share them widely. Do not assume poverty of resources, time, talent, treasure. Spend some of your church's money. The community outside your doors needs it more than your church does. Believe me. Take a leap of faith. Do concrete things. Open your buildings for the kids in the neighborhood. Get wild and crazy. Sell your suburban church and buy a storefront or a box store or a car dealership, all empty because buying is not as important as we thought. Build a community center and tell the world who you are. You are Unitarian Universalists. I work in a hospital in the palliative care department as their chaplain. After working from home, I have now returned to the hospital. Those early days were frightful. Shortages of masks, gowns, gloves, needing to use a mask for 5 days. This may be the beginning of a new time of desperation and fear, and it requires us as Unitarian Universalists to be fearless, brave, and generous, while using our imagination, our bravery, our generosity, and most important, our love. Where do those people who are working 24 hours a day with the same mask and the same PPE? Where do they go for hope? Where do they go for love? Open your doors to them. We are Unitarian Universalists. We have so much at our disposal. We have willing leaders in the administration who will provide the services we need to live into our values. We have leaders on the ground in the community who we can follow, who will welcome us into the revolution. This all brings us to the question, who do we want to be in the world? We can be the insular church on a hill, white suburban church of old. That's easy. Or we can revolutionize the church into something so amazing that right now we cannot imagine it. I was at a powwow once, and all the people were dancing. One elder was dancing in the opposite direction of all the others. When asked why, he said that the world was in such despair that it was off its axis. And by dancing in the opposite direction, he was trying to tilt it back. There is a lot of tilting needed. So let's dance counterclockwise. Be not afraid. Be not afraid. All of you together possess the amazing ability to share in bringing the world back to sanity, back to its axis. You are called by our ancestors, by those in whose arms we rest, by those who paved the way for our bright and beautiful liberal faith. You are called to turn away from pettiness, despair, fear, arrogance, and turn toward love, faith, bravery, generosity, and humility to make this world, our precious world, and all the people on it, our precious people, whole again. So just go do it.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your
In these times of fear, worry, sickness, I pray for you. I pray for your safety, your well-being, your good health. I pray for your quick recovery from COVID and other illnesses of your body, soul, and mind. I pray that you are secure in home and hearth. I pray that you have enough and will survive. May you be blessed by all that is holy, and may you survive and thrive. May you take on the mantle of faith and bravely go out and change the world. Just change the world. May it be so, and amen.